Well, hey, let's talk about a badass gun. Here it is now. This is the Nighthawk Custom Trooper. Now, I had them do a lot of stuff to this because the original Troopers, although fantastic guns, need a little work in my opinion, a little jazzing up. So here's a picture of what the original ones look like. Again, nothing too crazy, just kind of your standard, not a ton of frill or anything like that. But I took that sort of as the base model and then had them just completely re-jazz it up to this, and they do such a good job. So first off, this is a Commander, so it's not a 5-inch barrel and slide. This is a 4.25, which I actually kind of prefer. I prefer the Commanders. This one also has a recon rail, a flat trigger. This one has hand stippling in the front, and also, how do I do this without pointing at myself? You can see it in the rear there as well. They've got the hand stippling that blends into this mag weld that I had them add, which is just so beautiful, I can't even stand it. The smoked nitride finish to me is easily one of their coolest finishes that they do. And then if you have the eye for it, you probably saw there's a couple little lines in the rear of the slide, and that's because this is cut with their iOS system. It's their optic system, which is very cool. So basically you can see there's one little set screw in the top that comes out, another bar comes through, and the whole thing slides off. And you can essentially, you slide this one on, and then I had them do the RMR footprint. So basically anything that has the RMR footprint will go on here, and you have backup sights in front of your dot. Okay, so that's kind of what it would look like. Very cool system. Definitely one of the easiest to take off and put on, and I've noticed that definitely returns to zero easily. So that's very cool, because I know a lot of you guys taking that sight on and off can really be a pain in the ass, but being able to just move those back and forth without losing your zero is awesome. So let's talk about the caliber of this gun. I had this one chambered in 10 mil, and the reason for that is because well, before this I had zero experience with 10 mil, nothing, and I was just excited about all of the offerings. We're kind of seeing a new resurgence in 10 mil these days, so there's a bunch of companies making them, and I kind of wanted to just see for myself what all the hubbub is about, because some of these rounds get up into, you know, 357 Magnum ballistics, and I talk about that in the video. But let's start there. The three rounds that I was using were the 180s, and then I had some S&B XRGs that are going. These are 130 grainers going 1360, and then I had some Lehigh Defense. These are nasty. These are 115 grain rounds, and you know, 115 grain is normally what your 9mm is, but 9mm aren't going this fast. They're saying that they get 1,700 feet per second out of a 5-inch barrel with these. So because this is a 4.25 gun, I probably wasn't getting that, but man, you could really tell the difference between those three rounds, and that's what I think is so cool. Being able to pick a load that works good for what you're doing. Okay, and I talk about some of the different things here, but let's get into some of the range footage of me being a little dramatic when I first shoot the 1700s, those Lehigh Defenses, and then, you know, we get into some super scientific redneck shoot some bullets into jugs of water testing, which actually is pretty effective. So let's take a look at that now. The first one is just the, you know, it's some Blazer 180 grain 10 mil. We are also using S&B's. That's a solid copper round, 130 going about 1350. And then this last one is that Lehigh Defense, and that is a 115 grain round going 1,700 feet per second, which is kind of silly when we're talking about semi-auto pistols. So let's shoot them real fast, and then I'll kind of tell you my initial feel for the recoil. So This first one will be the 180. Okay, I'll definitely recoil there. Second one's the 130s. Well, that's nice. That feels like a 9 mil. The 130s are really nice for a defensive round. And this last one's the 1700, 115 grain. Jesus. Okay, those are... That one feels like you're shooting a Magnum. Like it's... You feel a bit of the punch to it. Wow, those are gnarly. And this is the Lehigh Defense. That's a 115 grained round. 115 grain round going 1,700 feet per second. So we're not looking for expansion here because these rounds don't really do that. We're just looking for what it looks like energetically. All right, 115 going 1,700. Let's see what we get here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. Those are scary rounds. If you guys don't know, 1,700, I mean, we're getting into 357 Magnum ballistics out of this little 4-inch darling. Wow. That those are scary rounds. Okay, rangefinder tells me this is about 35 yards. So some of you might have been interested in this cartridge as like a hunting cartridge for pistol hunting. I know some of you guys like shooting pigs with this, with the 10 mil. I've heard of white-tailed deer, but I don't know. I'm not a hunter, so I'm not totally sure, but I just wanted to see what this 115 grain, 1,700 foot per second round would do at 35. Wow. Okay, well, that's still pretty solid. This is the S&B 130 grain going 1350. Solid copper. Going hot. Yeah, damn. Let's see. Did we catch it? We did. Okay. And yeah, that's doing just what it's supposed to. So what, that made it through 3 water jugs. That thing is nasty. Okay, so we know that does the trick for sure. Okay, as you can see, I was a little dramatic with some of that stuff because it did surprise me. The pressure of it on those Lehigh defenses, I mean, that's got to be crazy pressure in there to get up to that 1,700 feet per second. But it did surprise me a little bit. Now, the other thing to talk about is that this is not the caliber you want if you're like a first-time shooter. You're going to see in some of this footage here that even though, I mean, I wouldn't call myself an accomplished shooter, but I'm certainly not a novice anymore. I've shot a lot. But it did take me a while to get it down, like to get the tempo of it where I liked it, to where I was getting good hits. So you'll see I don't miss the target completely in any of my shooting, but if you guys have watched any of my shooting videos before, you know I always keep them in that head box or in that chest ring. So I was a little disappointed at first, so I had to shoot it twice, and you'll see that too in the footage. But yeah, when things aren't going right where I want them to go, then you know it's time to settle down and go back to your fundamentals. But I did notice that I was not used to the tempo of this gun to get like good follow-up shots, and that's something to consider. You know, if you have somebody that's lighter frame or more recoil sensitive, you're probably not going to want to go with this gun. Probably start off with the 9mm or 380 or something like that. Plus, these rounds are pretty expensive. So let's look at the rest of the range footage. That's going to be pretty much it for the rest of this. We're just going to stop out with the range footage, but hope you guys like this. Let me know if you have any questions. To me, this is just a damn near flawless gun. I did not want to put a lot of rounds through it because we're going to sell this thing, but I had to get a little bit just to get a good feel for it. So let me know what you think. Sawtooth out. So a lot of people talk about this gun, or this caliber per se, as being, you know, it's really snappy, really heavy recoil, hard to do follow-up shots. This is an all-steel gun, and on my, you know, just like first impressions, I haven't noticed it be totally off the wall, you know, not much different than 45. So I'll do a little bit of shooting here. We got 9-round mags. That's another thing you get with the 10mm. So, you know, if your fundamentals are sound, you can still keep these on. Like, I'm not totally losing my dot. It's noticeable, right? You can definitely tell there's a lot more pressure. It's more of a snap than a push that you might get from like a 45. You know, it's more of a gentle, low pressure push, but it's still recoil. But this, it is snappy. Let me get a few more. So yeah, it's there, but it's not insane. If you just keep it together, and really do your job, it's not that bad. Now, would I want to shoot 1,000 rounds of it in a day? No, but that's not really what this is for either. So I think it's really nice. It's done nothing but impress me today, and I have really, really liked shooting it. I do feel it starting to wear that hand down a little bit already, but I can't stop shooting it. It's so much fun. Okay, 10mm recoil. I'm already out. All right, that was my last one out. That's better. Mozambique! Ah! Full out miss. Yeah. Okay. It is, with the 180 grains, you are flinching a little bit. You guys see that? That last shot I did, I was trying for a headshot and completely missed. So, getting used to it. I don't know, I might do 2 more mags because that was embarrassing. I embarrassed myself on that first one. So here's the second one. Better shoot your dot. Neck. So I yanked the hell out of that one. That's what we're looking for. One-handed. Get it over with. That is no fun to shoot one-handed. Mozambique on the move. Okay. So, better shooting. I don't like this one, and that was flat out anticipating recoil like a sucker. So, it does play a role, you know. I'm not a competitive shooter, you know what I mean? But in my honest opinion, that does, anticipating that recoil does play a role in how well you shoot. So, interesting stuff. Even more interesting gun. Look at that thing. God damn.